We have been exploring resilience, and what I've learned about resilience is that struggle isn't the enemy of growth. Struggle isn't the enemy of growth, it is a powerful path to growth. Resilience isn't about getting to success. Resilience is about tolerating the struggle. Tolerating the struggle so that we can continue to grow, so that we can continue to thrive. Whatever the struggle is, tolerating it so that we can move through it and learning to move through it with ease and strength and grace. Lent is that same invitation. So we're in the season of Lent. We began Lent last Wednesday, and Lent in unity, Lent is a season of letting go and releasing that which no longer serves us. That consciousness, those thoughts, those behaviors, those patterns that no longer serve us. So that we can make space. It's spiritual preparation. It is a spiritual reset. So what if that idea of Lent wasn't about deprivation, but rather it was learning to stay with what's uncomfortable long enough to be transformed by it? Stay with the struggle long enough for us to move through it. See, most of the time, what we tend to do when we're struggling is we tend to avoid it, yeah? We tend to bypass it, or we ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist. Think about a time that you're struggling. Think about something in your life that you're struggling with right now. Just think about it for a moment, and then think about the story that goes around it. Think about the story that is surrounding that struggle. And you might think about the stories of your life, the stories that you've heard telling yourself for years. All of the stories that tell us about who you are. I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not present enough. I'm not, holy enough. Think about all the stories that you tell yourself, that you've told yourself throughout the years, where you were confining or defining what's possible for you. This is what's possible. After all, I'm only human. Think about all those stories when you're telling yourself what you deserve in life. It might sound like I'm not enough, or this is always happening to me, or people can't be trusted. Whatever those stories are that we're telling ourselves, what if that story wasn't true? What if that story was just one of your imaginations? Your imagination kept rehearsing that story over and over again until it felt like it was true, until it felt like it was fact. That's the power of imagination. We tend to imagine things, pre-catastrophize things on the way to the meeting. We tend to get lost and stuck in our struggle of being late, and then all of a sudden, cherry blossoms and squirrels. Squirrel. What if we could stay with that long enough so that we can let go of it and imagine something new? Imagine something truer and reframe the story into something that's more empowering for us. Does that sound good? So we're going to draw upon this power of imagination, and this is one of our 12 powers. Imagination is a facet of our divine identity. And we grew up with it when we were kids, right? When we were little kids. And you know those little kids, and they have this active imagination, and we say, oh, what a wonderful imagination they have. You remember that? And now we're adults, but we still have that mindset of it's just fantasy, our imagination. Well, the power of imagination is not fantasy. It's an innate spiritual power, and it's a divine faculty, and it is the divine faculty of conception, visualization, and embodiment. Our imagination is conceptualizing it, visualizing it, and then embodying it. And here's the thing. Like every power that we have within us, all of those 12 powers, they are values neutral. Everyone take a nice deep breath. That might concern someone. But they're values neutral. They take whatever you put into it. So if you're putting into it imaginations, if you're putting into stories of lack and limitation, if you're putting in stories of struggle and strife, it's going to create a beautiful motion picture within you of that. So the power of imagination is just as powerful to work with lack, limitation, and struggle as it is to work with possibility and opportunity and spiritual strength. and worthiness and presence. So what if we discovered and let go of all of those stories that were creating that sense of lack and limitation and struggle and tuned into a story of possibility, opportunity, spiritual strength, and worthiness? Nothing has ever manifested that was not first imagined. Everything comes from our imagination. We can use our imagination to catastrophize, to rehearse old stories, to predict horrible futures, to predict failure. We can use our imagination to conceive of harmony, to assert wholeness within us, to see a new vision for life. Which one will you choose? Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of the Unity Movement, said this about imagination. This is from the Revealing Word. He said, imagination is the faculty of mind that imagines and forms. It is the power to shape and form thought. So the thoughts that are going through our heads, it's through our imagination that we shape it and we form it. And with our imagination, we lay hold of ideas and clothe them in substance. Our mind receives divine ideas and reflects their character and reflects the character of that based on our own consciousness. So we have all these wonderful divine ideas, and they're filtered through our consciousness, and our imagination reflects it based on the lens that we're looking through, based on the things that we think about ourselves, based on those stories. So what if we can release those stories and imagine something new? We don't experience life as it is. We experience life as we are, in our thoughts, in our words, and in our actions. That's the lens through which we experience the world. Your mind acts as a filter to reality. And therefore, the character of your mind, where you're at any particular moment, where you're at in this moment, when we're triggered, when we're happy, when we're joyful, when we're sad, whatever you are in that moment, that is how you are experiencing life. That is how you are imagining things in life. So when we become aware of that, now we have the opportunity to shift it. Yes? All right, I got 4 of you. 5, 6, all right, peer pressure, I love it. Here's the question for you. What consciousness am I living from right now? What a beautiful question. What consciousness am I living from right now? What if we just take a pause, took a moment, wherever we are, whatever struggle we're in, whatever is happening in our life, took a pause to just ask that one question: what consciousness am I living from right now? Am I living from scarcity, or am I living from sufficiency? Living from fear, or am I living through wisdom? Am I living through my old stories, or am I living through new possibilities? Lent is a spiritual reset. It's not a punishment, it's purification. It helps us release and prepare our consciousness for that arising of that Christ consciousness, that divine consciousness, that light within us. Whatever words you want to put to it. Light, love, whatever we can imagine, that's what we're creating in life. Lent is about giving something up, but it's really about giving up the story, of letting go of the story, so that we can see something different, so we can see our life differently, so we can imagine and see our life shining and expanding and growing and being that light. It's an invitation for us to examine and shift our consciousness that we're operating from. So what do you need to release? Think about it for a moment. What is it? What is the story within you that you need to release? You might think about it as something you're clinging to. What am I clinging to? What stories are you creating? Are your stories based on and creating within you rigidity? Is it creating doubt? Is it creating overindulgence? Is it creating stress? What stories are you running that's alive in you? Notice if your stories are creating a defensive posture towards life. Notice if those stories are creating an emotional exhaustion. If they're closing doors to possibility. If they are constricting you. Those are the stories we want to release. we want to let go of. Now, I'm using this booklet, Release and Reimagine, Lent 2026 by Unity. It's available in the bookstore. I think it cost $1 to cover our costs. But the whole point of this, every day there's a new practice. Every day there's a new something that we're going to release, and the next day something we're going to reimagine. So what are you willing to release? I'm going to pick stress. I release stress. Listen to this. In such an active and interconnected world, it's easy to be influenced by what happens around us, to react to external stimuli such as change in the family or work situation, a busy schedule, heavy traffic. We might become caught up in events over which we have no control, and as a result, feel nervous, frustrated, or angry. So it's time to release that. It's time to pause, to acknowledge what's upsetting me. Notice it's not bypassing. Notice it's not avoiding. It's simply acknowledging this is what is. It's not resisting it. It's just saying, just acknowledge, here's what's happening. Here's what's upsetting me. If there's something I can do about it, I calm down and I do it. If I can't do anything about it, there's always something I can do for myself. And that is to regain my balance, my serenity, my inner peace. So take a few deep breaths. Feel that conscious release of whatever it is that you're holding on to. It says take a few deep breaths, go for a quiet walk. You can do that after the service. Whatever it is that will help you release that tension and anxiety and regain your emotional freedom. Regain your emotional freedom. That's what Lent is about. Saying, I'm going to release the story that's wrapped around this stress. I'm going to release all of the things that I'm worrying about, that I can't do anything about. I'm going to release them so that I can regain my spiritual freedom, my inner peace, my serenity. I release stress, and I reimagine inner peace. Today I commit to living from my center of peace. I dedicate this sacred moment to communing with my divine identity. I quiet my mind, relax, and rest into the silence of my being. And as I do so, I feel my inner light shine with new brilliance. Divine omnipresence envelops me, and in this state of wholeness, I affirm, I am a center of light. I am a center of peace. When we take a moment to relax, to release, and then to reimagine what that peace might be like in our life, to reimagine how we might express that inner peace and serenity as we go through those meetings, as we're on our way to that, late to that appointment, as we're struggling with that phone call that we know we have to make that we just don't want to make. Whatever that struggle is around us, release the story and reimagine that light shining within you. Here is our practice for the week. Got your notebooks? I have two main practices. Here's the first one. The first one is when you're feeling the struggle, when you're going through life and you're feeling that struggle, right? When you notice it, you're feeling the tension, you're feeling the stress, name it. Step number one is to name it. Don't ignore it. Don't bypass it. Don't avoid it. Don't pretend it doesn't exist. Just simply name it without any attachment to it. Just say, oh, there's my stress. Can you tell the difference between, oh, there's my stress, to, can you believe what they're doing to me today? I can't believe I'm going to be late for this meeting. Look at this. Look at that crazy squirrel on the tree. Curse you, squirrel. Don't wrap a story around it. Just name it. And as you name it, it releases. We let it go. We then release it. And the releasing process is a denying of power. It is denying the power that you used to give the story. You're denying the energy that you used to put into that story of suffering and lack and limitation. You're denying the story power. And therefore, you're taking back your own power. You're feeling and allowing it to flow within you. Name it, release it, and then reimagine it. In that space that you create, when you release it, speak spiritual truth. Affirm your good. This is the part of the affirmation that is really important to understand, that it's not about fantasy. It's about spiritual truth. Affirming, I am whole in this moment spiritually. I am loved in this moment spiritually. I am love in expression. I am peace in expression. I am whole spiritually. Whatever affirmation that you have that will bring you into that empowering experience within you. Name it, release it, reimagine it. Yes? Part 2. This is being taught in our Unity Kids class today. Ariane is teaching from the book, I Am Peace. A book, let me read it here, a book of mindfulness. Oh, I can look up here. A book of mindfulness by Susan Verde and art by Peter Reynolds. This is what our kids are learning today, how to be mindful and choose peace in those stressful moments. This is what the author, Susan Verde, has to say. Do not worry about before or after. I am in this moment. I am peace. Do not worry about before or after. Let go of those stories about our past. Let go about the fear of pre-catastrophizing about the future. Let go of all of that and be in this present moment. Can you imagine if you learned that as a child? That's what our kids are learning. And here's the second part of the practice. It's this sheet right here, and there are extra sheets that are available in the courtyard right out there. You can pick one up if you're here. If you're not here, we're so high tech. What you can do is take your hand, put it on a piece of paper, and trace it. We're just off the hooks and high tech here. Here's your hand. 5 mindful affirmations that you can choose today. When you're bumping into that stress, remember the 5 things. Remember your hand. What are the 5 things? And you write down the 5 things that you will tell yourself, the 5 affirmations that you will say that will reground you. You write down the 5 affirmations that you say that will reestablish that sense of inner peace. You write down the 5 things that you're going to say that will remind you of your spiritual power and presence and spiritual will and faith, and create that sense of joy and enthusiasm. And then when you're stressed, look at your hand and go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Say each affirmation. The first one, 5, whatever your first affirmation is. The next affirmation. And then at the end of 1, go. Just go. Move your feet and be that. Are you in? You can pick up one of these beautiful charts in the courtyard. Thank you, Ariana, for putting that together and for teaching our kids that. So I'm excited about this idea. Release teaches us to move through the struggle, whatever it is. We're not bypassing it. We're not ignoring it. We're simply naming it and then moving through it. And as we move through it, that's where our resilience is built. That's where our growth occurs. When we're able to move through it with a new mindset, with a different perspective, and able to move through it not with the old story, but with a new affirmative story about who you've come here to be. Release is denying the power that we used to give to the story, and that power is what we're using to create our own struggling. And so we reclaim that power and reimagination. Reimagination shifts our consciousness to something truer, something healthier, something centered in the divine consciousness within us, something centered in that presence and power, that energy of spirit.